interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Vikings Uncensored. This week, we are previewing the game Sunday, 3:25 p.m. Central Time versus the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. But before we get into that game, got a couple of news items we want to hit. I want to get Lance's take on the victory last weekend in Carolina, since we have not heard his opinion yet, and a few other things. But before we get started, we want to give our kudos and our congratulations to another Minnesota sports team. The Minnesota Twins not only broke an 18-game playoff losing streak, they also won their first series since 2002 by sweeping the Toronto Blue Jays in 2 games this week in the wild card round.
And the righty deals. Swing and a miss. 3 straight unhittable curveballs. And the Twins are an out away. Swing and a miss. Finally, 21 years in the making. And the Twins advance with a victory in 2 straight over Toronto. And they will meet the Houston Astros in the ALDS.
Moving on to the American League Divisional Series to take on the cheating Houston Astros. So hopefully they can continue their winning ways and knock those cheating bastards out of the playoffs.
Tough team, but it's possible.
Yeah, I think they played Houston fairly well.
Yeah.
I think during the season. So, and the nice thing is everybody hates Houston, so the Twins are going to have a majority of the support of the
yeah.
But it was nice to see watching some of the highlights. They showed Target Field and the place was just roaring. And then they went down to showed the Tampa Bay Rays when they're playing Texas Rangers, and it looked like a spring training game in there. The stadium was like 2/3 the way empty, and it was.
Yeah, I was listening to part of it on the radio, and it sounded loud at Target Field for sure. And they turned a couple double plays, and that place just blew up, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bases were juiced one time late in the game.
Yep, and then that. Of course, game 1, Royce Lewis with his first 2 postseason at bats hits home runs.
Yep.
Carlos Correa made that incredible play that threw the guy out at home.
Yep.
He came up big again yesterday as well with that pickoff move at second base. So they had runners at second and third with 2 out.
Yep.
So
and the base. Then later on in the game, the bases were juiced. We were up by 2-0, late in the game, and the bases were juiced, and he turned 2. It was great.
Yep. But anyway, this is a football show, so we won't spend too much more time talking baseball, but we just wanted to give our congratulations to the Twins for moving on and on to football.
Right.
Not a whole lot of news this week of any real importance around the league. Again, in New York, Daniel Jones better be getting Ed Donatel one hell of a Christmas present this year because he is an absolute disaster. If you watch that Monday night debacle at all, Brian Daboll looked like he was about ready to grab him and rip him in half and throw him in a garbage can.
Yeah, he did not look impressed. And
No.
Jones did not look impressive at all. So
no. And there was one time I think I saw the video on there. Dayball actually was over in Jones's face going, "What the hell are you doing out there?" kind of thing.
Yeah. $40 million man right there.
Yep, based basically off of 2 games last year. Anyway, on to Vikings type news. Only real thing this week, Junior Aho, who is that foreign player deal or whatever.
Exemption, yeah.
Yep, he was released off the 53-man roster, and then is going to be added to the practice squad with that foreign player exemption, so he does not count against any other spots. Vikings still have an open spot on the 53 after moving Myles Gaskin down to the practice squad last week.
Leads to some speculation there.
Yeah, are they bringing somebody in? They have not officially, that I have heard yet, opened the practice window for Kene Nwangwu. Kind of wondering if that's not what they're going, what they're going to do with that roster spot.
Yeah.
But I guess we will. We'll see if anything pops from there. Hasn't been any real steam. I know there was some
Akeem Hicks steam earlier on.
An option there, but have not heard anything credible other than Akeem Hicks flirting with Vikings Twitter and that kind of stuff. But
right.
And then the only other thing after that incredible game Harrison Smith had on Sunday, man. He got jobbed, lost out on Defensive Player of the Week. I forget who won it.
It doesn't matter because Harrison Smith should have won it.
The stat line for I should know who it is. I think it's one of Seattle's guys, but the stat line for him was half of what Hitman had. And
typical Minnesota bullshit. We never get credit when credit's due.
Yeah. Yeah, but screw them. Just let the let the play on the field speak for itself.
We'll get our second win, right? Exactly.
Yep. A couple other things. The Cam Akers effect. We've been hearing about that this week. Brought up, at least first off, by Kirk, talking about how much he likes having him in the locker room and in the huddle. Very positive, funny guy, upbeat. He said that his his presence and stuff has been very good for morale and things like that. So from hearing that he wasn't a fit in Los Angeles and everything else,
he might make his way to the number 1 guy. Honestly, he had a hell of a good game against Carolina.
I think at very least it's going to lead it to be more of an actual running back by committee. More
when
of a
you got Kirk singing your praises. I mean, your starting quarterback. I bet he's going to get more carries as the season goes on, and that's just that it's going to happen anyways. But he might be looking at getting the majority of the carries. I
would say it's going to, he'll end up being closer to a 60-40, 50-50 split kind of thing instead of that 90-10 or whatever it was we had last week.
The thing with Akers is that you can tell he's more decisive as soon as he gets the ball and which hole he's going to go to. Like he sees it and goes. Whereas Madison can kind of no bad news to Madison or anything like that or any disrespect, but Akers is a lot more decisive than Madison in my opinion as far as seeing the hole and going through it.
Yeah, he's got better vision, I think, and there was a couple times that he's allowing his blocks to develop a little bit better in front of him too.
Right, and Madison does have some good runs, and he has good ability. But
Madison has played well the last couple of weeks.
Last couple of games, yeah.
The fumbles against earlier in the season notwithstanding, but last week against Carolina, he had 95 yards rushing and held onto the ball the entire time. So
both guys looked good last week at
Yeah.
rushing. So it's hard to take out. It's hard to take out anybody when they're busting off 5-6 yard runs a pop. So.
Mm-hmm. But since we're talking about the Carolina game, you got any insight, comments, or anything else you want to make on that before we move on to this week?
It was an ugly win over a bad team. That's the best way to wrap it up. We did have some good highlights in that game. We did have some lowlights as well. We almost let Thielen fucking torch the shit out of us. He still had a decent game. I don't know his stat line, but I know he played well.
7 for 76, I think it was.
Okay. Well, at least he didn't bust 100, but it was looking like it was possible there for a little bit. Played Bryce Young really well. Got after him. It was good to see. Like I said, as the season goes on, that defense, I don't think the defense gave up any touchdowns or any points, did they?
No, the only touchdown came on that pick six.
Right. That defense, honestly, is deceptively good. Minus the whole Keenan Allen debacle. But Flores has got that defense going in the right direction, and I love the aggressiveness that he's been bringing, and that just look what he did for Harrison Smith last Sunday. Putting him in spots to make plays.
And the interesting thing, our blitz rates have been up at or above 50% the first 3 games of the year. Against Carolina, we only blitzed like 32% of the time.
And you know what? Those blitzes were getting home when they were getting called too.
Well, and there's another factor, and I know we've been ripping on this guy all year for his unavailability.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, we talked about this during the game. We did.
Yeah. Marcus Davenport made an impact this past week with him on the field. And with him there, I think that was a big reason why we didn't have to blitz 50% of the time.
Davenport looked the part. Couch looked the part. Davenport, sofa, couch, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Just call him Davenport. His name's Davenport. But, man, I was happy to see. He came in and did what he needed to do, honestly. Yeah. For a lot of us fans. A lot of us fans were getting frustrated. Where the fuck is Davenport? We paid this guy this money in free agency. Why is he not out there playing? Well, he came out and he played. And he played. You know what I mean? He made plays. And I loved it. Very good. Very good to see that. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come and better things to come, because you put him and Hunter out there, that's with the way they played against Carolina, that's pretty formidable pass rush on the outside edges there.
Yeah.
And he plays the run well too. So.
Yeah, the run defense did very well. I think they held the entire team to, I think it was 80 yards on the ground. So that's
right.
Respectable.
I mean, you're facing Chuba Hubbard and fucking Joe Schmo from Winslow.
Yeah, but I mean, they're it's not an electric running back group, but anytime you can hold a team to rushing for 80 yards, I'll take that.
I'm gonna tell you what though, we got to go out and beat Kansas City this week for one thing, but we are a team that if we catch some steam, we're going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But we have to catch that steam before we don't have a shot to go anywhere. So that's just it. Like I said, it was an ugly win over a bad team. That third quarter, man, is usually our fucking Achilles heel, but last week against Carolina, we came to play that second half, man. That's for sure. Hopefully that first half was our old version of us, and then the new version of us came out that second half, and hopefully that's us going forward.
Yeah.
And you know what? That Kansas City team, well, we're going to get there, but that Kansas City team is beatable.
Oh, yeah.
They're not the Kansas City of old. That's for sure. Yeah. They got Mahomes, and they got Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, and other than that, you keep those 3 players in check, we'll be fine, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll do that when we get the breakdown. But since you're bringing up Kansas City, that's probably just as good of a segue as any to roll into the preview for this week. Like we mentioned, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The Chiefs come in. Of course, being it is Kansas City coming to Minnesota, we end up on the CBS network.
Buddy says hi.
We end up on the CBS network, which means, being it's the 3:25 game, we get Jim Nance and Tony Romo as announcers.
Oh no!
Yeah, which we have never.
Don't do it like you did last year, man.
We have never won a game that Jim Nance and Tony Romo have called.
I know.
So we got to get that monkey off our backs too. But
and a good way to catch steam is to go out and beat a team like the Chiefs after you go and come off a good emotional win from the previous week.
Yeah.
They're world champs, man. They're the prior season's world champs. For all you that didn't know, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, and the Jets showed last week that Kansas City is beatable. I mean, they should have beat Kansas City.
Detroit showed us that too.
Detroit beat them to begin the year, and that was in Kansas City.
Yeah. So these guys, and we are at. Let's make fucking U.S. Bank Stadium great again. For the first time, whatever.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Let's get that home
advantage here.
Yep. And just so we don't get into that stuff again, be loud on defense and shut the hell up on offense, so we don't have that excuse again like we had against the Chargers.
Right.
But anyway, with that, we're going to roll into the tail of the tape to see how these two teams match up against each other. Starting off, as we always do, on the offensive side of things. Total yards, Kansas City is third. The Vikings are ninth. I mean, we have a top 10 offense, which
that's surprising that Kansas City's got that. They don't really have other than Kelsey. Well, Pacheco had a fucking hell of a
Pacheco game. He was the reason they won that game against the Jets on Sunday night.
I guess, Continue along.
Yeah. Scoring offense, Kansas City is ninth. Minnesota is 16th, which that's one stat that has to change.
It will.
We got too much firepower on offense to be 16th in the league in scoring.
Frustratingly ugly in the red zone so far this year.
And we have yet to score in the first quarter through 4 games. Last year, we always started out, usually on that first scripted drive, we'd do well, we'd score, and then
almost every fucking drive last year, and start the game.
Yep. Then we go into that shell. Now we move that shell to the beginning of the game, and
and then the third quarter. I mean, if we could play every fucking game and every quarter like we played our previous third quarter, we would win the rest of our games. Damn it!
Yes. I hit the beyond that,
get tagged for Sesame Street.
Yeah, for those, we just got a notification as we're recording here that the WWE put a copyright claim on us. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use any more WWE stuff in our shows. But
damn you, McMahon, you're fired.
Yeah, Stone Cold Stunner your ass.
You're right.
Anyway, though, moving on. Passing offense, Vikings are third in the league in passing. The Chiefs are sixth.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we were going to have a good passing offense, and it could be even better, honestly. But we're getting there.
Mm-hmm. We just got
we need receivers that don't fucking bobble the balls, man.
Well, yeah.
It just has not gone our way the first 4 weeks of the season.
Well, last week it started turning around. Hopefully we got that off the schneid. But rushing offense, so here's where the big difference comes in. Kansas City is 9th. The Vikings are 28th in rushing.
So we moved up 2 spots.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think we were 31st after the Chargers game. So
Yeah, we moved up 2 spots.
that's
Oh,
3
3
spots.
spots. Excuse me. My math is a little off today. I'm smart.
Yeah. But then turnovers, this is where we are the worst. Minnesota is 32nd in the league in turnovers with 11.
And that explains a lot for.
Although Kansas City is 29th in the league in turnovers. They have 8.
Good.
So they're not that far behind us.
Switch spots with them this week.
Yeah.
But, better.
Yeah. Let's get +3 in the turnover differential.
Yes.
We just need to have a game where we are plus in the turnover differential.
It's a complete game. I can't even tell you the last time we had a complete game. Even going back into last year, we never really had a complete game.
Probably the season opener against the Packers last year.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when nobody knew what was coming out of Cole O'Connell, and then he got
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. We have not had a complete game in years.
Right. I mean that the Buffalo game was close. I think. I mean, but we fell behind there too and had to come back. But
because we threw it away to begin with, we had to come back. We had to come back and win that game. So
right. Yeah. Fair point. Anyway, then moving on to tail of the tape on the defensive side of things.
Smart.
Yes, smart. Total yards. Kansas City is 8th in the league. Vikings are 20th. I mean, we talked about that. If we could be top 20 at the end of the year, we were going to be happy. We're there now.
Yeah.
In most categories. Scoring defense, points given up. Kansas City is the 5th best. Vikings are 19th.
Middle of the pack. Okay.
Yeah. Passing, the Chiefs are 8th best. Vikings have moved up to 21st now.
Wow.
Rushing
cool for sure. Wow, when you're used to sitting at the fucking bottom end of the league.
Yeah, we were 28th to 31st most of last year, so definite improvement. Rushing defense, Kansas City is 12th. The Vikings are actually 15th in run defense right now.
After that Eagles game, that's hard to believe, man.
And if not for that Eagles game, yeah, we'd have a top 10 rush defense right now.
Dude, they fed us our lunches that night.
Well, DeAndre Swift ran for 175 yards on us.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think DeAndre Swift isn't getting enough fucking credit for how good that he is, honestly.
I think Detroit's probably regretting getting rid of DeAndre Swift and going with Jahmyr Gibbs because Gibbs hasn't really done much of anything.
The knock on Swift has always been his ability to stay on the field. And when he's on the field, though, he is a fucking playmaker, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Then we got a few. I decided to add some of the more of the advanced stats this week because with Flores' defense, these are kind of nice to look at too. Blitz percentage. Minnesota is first in the league in blitz percentage at a 58.2% clip.
Good. I like when teams see that and they're like, holy shit.
Kansas City is 6th in the league in blitzing at 34.4%.
Sixth.
So, 6th.
We're getting what we asked for. We're getting exactly what we wanted out of this guy.
And what we expected we were going to see.
And the thing is that with Flora, if you think these numbers are good, just wait until the end of the year because it's very, very typical of Flores' defense. I've been saying this every week. It's very typical of Flores' defense to really start rolling come week 6, 7, and 8, and then go moving forward. So, I mean, I don't think we've seen the best out of this defensive unit.
No, I don't think so either. Sacks. Vikings are 16th in the league in sacks. Kansas City is 20th.
It will help them with Chris Jones coming back, though, too. That's especially against the.
Well, Chris Jones has been there the whole year, though. I think he missed the first game.
Did he miss the first game, though?
He missed the first game, but he's been there the last 3. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Chris Jones is the force he normally is, but.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Give credit where credit's due. Absolutely.
Now, here's kind of an interesting stat. We talked about the blitz percentages a minute ago. Pressure percentage. Kansas City is 2nd in the league in pressures at 29.9%. So, they're they're getting home when they do the pressuring. This is the one thing where the Vikings, for as often as we have blitzed, we struggled in. Minnesota is 28th in the league in pressure percentage.
Ooh, that
Only
is
at
not
17.1%.
most blitzing
So-
team. That's ugly, dude. You're the most blitzing team in the league, and you're oh man.
That was the thing. You know, we were sending all this stuff, but we weren't getting home and creating the pressures that we should be creating. Now, like I said, this past week with Marcus Davenport returning, our blitz rate was down, but yet our effectiveness was up, and that's
It evened it out.
Yep. And that's the thing, you know, you got to time the blitzing and stuff. Right now with a guy like Mahomes this week, you can't just send the house on him because he's going to kill you.
You got to play Mahomes like you played Hurts in week 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Contain the edges. Make him throw from the pocket. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
No
that's
off-script plays. No off-script plays because Mahomes is really, really good at that.
Yeah, that's what he thrives, and he loves doing that because he plays hero ball. He loves playing hero ball.
He does, and he succeeds. 85 to 90%
Yeah,
of the time.
he plays like Brett Favre played, except
he's who every kid out there wants to be right now at quarterback.
Yep. And like I said, he plays the game like Brett Favre did, but he's better than Brett Favre.
Right. Well, that's how the game evolves, and
Yeah.
human growth hormones. And I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No. Okay. Disclaimer: Vikings Uncensored is not making the assertion that Patrick Mahomes uses performance-enhancing drugs.
Right. He doesn't. He's got.
We are making the assertion that we are not 100% convinced that he is actually human, but
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
he may have some Kryptonian blood in him or something. I don't know, but
Well, the shit they're putting in food nowadays and all that, and nah, we're not conspiracy uncensored, so
yeah, I didn't bring my tinfoil hat today, so we're okay. But anyway, that's tail of the tapage.
Whole segment out there when I start talking about Mahomes. Leave my crazy wavy arms in here for my signal that you got to cut some out.
Yeah. All right.
You leave that in there too. Wacky, fat, inflatable arm tube man.
Yeah, we'll just roll from here.
Okay.
But anyway, that's our tail of the tape for the week. Anything else preview-wise you want to hit before we roll on? I mean, we'll do our predictions here in just a little bit.
Right. No, I think you covered it all pretty well. And like I said, there's that one stat that's pretty telling: the pressure rate versus how much percentage of blitz. That's I don't like that. But other than that, everything else sounds pretty kosher.
Yeah, and just kind of a bow on the thing. Kansas City does not have the wide receiver core that they're used to having, but Mahomes has the ability to make average receivers look very good.
As good future Hall of Fame or Hall of Fame quarterbacks do. They make the people around them look better. The receivers around them look better. The receivers don't make the quarterback look good. It's the quarterback making the receivers look good. Sometimes it is. But
I mean, there's only so much you can do with players like Kadarius Toney, who is doing his best Troy Williamson impression on a daily basis. Now that we say that, he's going to go out and have 7 catches on Sunday. But
right.
Other than that, we mentioned earlier Isaiah Pacheco. We have to contain him. He's a very good running back, and he's the reason they beat the Jets last weekend.
Yeah, dominated with Pacheco.
Then they've still got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, is still a serviceable running back.
Yeah. And McKinnon, our boy.
Our old buddy Jerick McKinnon, who's a great third down back, catching the ball in the backfield. You got to keep an eye on him.
A few times I've seen, so.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you've got Travis Kelce, who catches everything in the world you throw at him. So,
but you know what, though? That Kansas City offensive line is not very good.
No, we can get home on Mahomes.
Yeah.
If we just got to time it right and not miss on those blitzes and let him bust contain and get out and because he can take off and run.
That right tackle over there is having a hell of a horrible year right now.
Yeah.
Juwan Taylor, I think his name is. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not having that great of a year. Now watch, like you said, and I'll watch him go out and play like a fucking all-pro this week. But
yeah, and of course they're going to line Chris Jones up over the top of Ed Ingram, but according to Pro Football Focus, Ed Ingram's a good right guard. So
no.
yeah, I know. I broke that all down on the Ranch Show on Monday. So if you didn't get to see that, go back and check that out. But Buddy doesn't like it either. So all right, with that, then we're going to roll into another one of our viral videos of the week. So go grab yourself another cold one, crack it open, check it out. We'll be back in just a minute.
Running here to stay out of the double play on the 3-2 count.
Does not go. And now one is drilled deep to left field. Going back Varsho. Turning. Looking. See ya. A 2-run home run for Lewis. And just like that, the Twins are up 2-0.
Royce Lewis. Why not? October time for the kid. And the Twins strike first. It's 2.
Fires the tying run. Chop toward third. Polanco charges, and it goes under his glove. And here comes Bichette. Here's the throw. Here's the play. He's out. Oh, a great recovery by Carlos Correa, firing home to get Bichette trying to score.
And a gold glove play by a platinum winner.
Again.
Oh,
Do they have him picked off? Oh, they got him. Oh, what a mistake by Vlad Guerrero. He's signaling to the dugout. He thinks he got in. Oh, did they bail out Sonny Gray?
He looks at Correa, and he's going to go to the hat for the acknowledgement. Now that play is hot right now. 1, 2, go. We may need to see another angle.
All right, we're back, and as we have set up so far this season, we have reached the prediction segment of the show. We're not only predicting the Vikings games this year, we're predicting the games from the entire NFC North. So we keep tabs on what our closest competition is doing. Again, this week we have one NFC North game on Thursday night, so that will be over and done with. By the time you watch here, the Chicago Bears are playing the Washington Commanders in the Nobody Really Cares Bowl. So we will start off, though, with the Sunday matchup. The Carolina Panthers going to Detroit to face the Motor City Kitties.
The Detroit Lions are going to beat those guys. I mean, we just barely squeaked. We went by with squeaker out of there. You know, we didn't really come together until the second half. Jamison Williams back after his suspension. He's wearing the Deion Sanders vintage cleats. So Williamson's looking to go out and have a good game. You know, first game back from. I think he's only played 2 games.
Yeah, he's got one career catch, and that was that touchdown catch he had against us last year.
Figures, yeah. But yeah, Detroit's and that Detroit pass rush is pretty good. So I'm gonna take Detroit. I hate to take them, but they're gonna fucking roll over the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, Jamison Williams to me hasn't proven enough to be a super concern yet, but the rest of their receiving core is no joke. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You've got that new tight end they got. Laporta. Yeah, he's a hell of a tight end. I mean, that kid's good.
He was, almost a perfect replacement to Hawkinson. Honestly,
they're not skipping a beat with him this year. So
no.
We definitely got to account for him. I mean, the guys across the middle, the safeties, Jordan Hicks and Ivan Pace, they're going to have their hands full with that guy.
When we play Detroit, later in the season, for sure.
Yeah. I don't really see any way that Carolina. I mean, it's possible that Detroit could go in and shit the bed and do Detroit things, and Carolina pulls off a win. But
they have yet to do that, so I'm pretty sure they are who we see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Detroit's no joke this year.
Right.
I mean, they haven't been a joke for the last, it's from the second half of last season up until now.
Right, second half of last season for sure up until now.
But I'm going to agree on this. I think the Lions win at home, and move on to 4-1.
Carolina moves on to 0-5.
0-5. All right, then the next game, this is Monday night. This would be another kind of a whoop-de-doo fest, but the Green Bay Packers travel to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders.
Oh, man. People are going to be like all over the Packers again after this game, all riding on fucking Jordan Love's fucking sack. But I look for the Packers to come out of Las Vegas with a win here. You know, I'd love to see the Vegas Raiders put away the Packers, but I think this is a battle of two teams that really, I don't know, aren't that good, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I look for the Packers to take out the Raiders. I really do not want to pick the Packers, but if I'm being just a non-biased sports analyst, I'm going to go with the Packers this week over the Raiders.
Yeah. Now, I haven't heard if Jimmy Garoppolo's playing this week for the Raiders. That might make a little bit of a difference.
Aiden O'Connell's playing.
Aiden O'Connell played and he wasn't terrible last week, I don't think. I guess I didn't really watch the. I know the Raiders got.
He's a rookie, so there's that.
He's a rookie. Yeah, I mean, if Jimmy Garoppolo's in there, I think they stand a much better chance. Josh McDaniels is a horrible head coach. It was a bad move when the Raiders hired him. Said it at that point in time. He's a coordinator. He's not a head coach.
Right.
But
Sugar-esque.
you know, the Packers got a lot of injuries. They've got, you know, Bakhtiari's out. I think Elgin Jenkins, I think, is still out. Aaron Jones, have not heard if he's playing yet this week.
And that
they
Raiders
did get,
defense is pretty good.
they did get their wide receiver. I mean, Christian Watson played last week, and I think their wide receiver core is getting back to full strength a little bit more. But I still don't trust Jordan Love. And yeah, part of this is probably just what's that?
Too streaky. He's
Yeah.
streaky.
And part of this probably is the fact that I despise the Green Bay Packers, but I am taking the Raiders as my upset special for the week. It's going to be close, but I think the Raiders are going to squeak it out.
I hope so.
Our old buddy, Mr. Carlson, I think will kick a game-winning field goal, and
That'd
the
be great.
Raiders
I would love to see the Raiders take out
the Raiders will shock the Green Bay Packers and throw that entire team in turmoil over there. Jordan Love looked pretty dejected at the end of the game last week when he blew that lead and then they ended up losing. So I'm screwed. I'm picking the Packers to lose. So
Right on.
all right. So then we move on, of course, to the most important game in the NFC North. Kansas City coming to Minnesota to play the Vikings.
Do we pick the Bears game?
They play Thursday night.
So we're not going to pick them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this will be on Friday. The game will have already happened.
I know, but we're still picking before the game.
We didn't pick Thursday night game last week either.
Okay.
So
Fuck it. Fuck the Thursday night game.
as you can see, Lance is back to the swearing like a sailor episode again. So
Right.
I made him get up early on a Thursday to record here. So he's
Right. It is. Pretty early.
all right. Anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs at Minnesota. Lance, you take it first.
You know, this is, if we go out and win this game, could be the game that, you know, tilts the season back in our favor. We win this game, we have good chances, and I don't like to look forward, and I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to. We have a good chance of beating Chicago and getting back to 500 if we can beat Kansas City this week. So, but the thing is, got to focus on Kansas City. Don't look forward to next week, especially as a team. We can beat Kansas City. We can beat Kansas City just like we could have beat the Eagles. It's just we need to get our shit together. You know, we have not played a complete game. We got to quit with these wacky ass turnovers that we've been committing during games. You get rid of all that and we'll start winning. That's just it. Those turnovers are killing us because those other teams are getting points off of those turnovers. for the most part. So we got to eliminate the turnovers and contain those three guys I mentioned earlier in the episode: Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes, and now it's looking like Isaiah Pacheco could also be a factor in this game too. So we do that, and we walk out of our stadium with a win. You know, like I said, bring back home, make home field advantage in Minnesota great again. Let's do that.
So you're picking a Vikings win?
I'm going to go with the Vikings. If we can eliminate the turnovers, we're going to win this game. We make a couple of bad mistakes, turn the ball over, Kansas City's going to win this game. But if we can eliminate the turnovers and contain those 4 players, we will go into that game and win.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. I mean, keeping those 4 guys in check is easier said than done, but we've seen, and we talked about this earlier, Kansas City they're not invincible. They have got chinks in their armor. Patrick Mahomes threw 2 very bad interceptions last week.
Right.
I mean, we ripped on Kirk Cousins for that god awful pick 6 he threw. Mahomes had a couple throws, those interceptions that were just as bad.
Right.
You know, we've never played Patrick Mahomes. Every time we played Kansas City since he's been in the league, he's been injured. And I forget who the other one is. Yep. Again, you got Travis Kelce is almost impossible to shut him down. They're gonna have their hands full with him. Their wide receiver core doesn't necessarily scare me all that much anymore. With Mahomes, like I said, you can make pretty much anybody look good, but
yeah,
you can blanket those guys. Yeah, I think we can cause some problems there, but we're going to have to play a complete game start to finish, and we're going to have to eliminate the mistakes. Like you said, if we start making dumb mistakes, bad penalties, turnovers, Kansas City will eat our lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, if we are going to have any hope this season, we have to split with Kansas, at least split with Kansas City and San Francisco. And right now, Kansas City is the more beatable team than San Francisco.
Right. Although San Francisco's looking beatable though too.
But
the defense doesn't look as scary as it did. You know,
but they're still.
Bosa's still Bosa, and he's doing Bosa things.
And San Francisco's undefeated yet. I mean, they're 4-0.
That's true.
They look right now. I mean, granted, Philadelphia is still 4-0 also. But I think
he's damn good over there in San Francisco.
And so is Brock Purdy. I mean, we all had our questions whether or not he would be able to continue what he did last year, and so far he is.
Right.
So, I mean, of the two, I think Kansas City is the more beatable team.
Yeah.
So I think, it's going to take a complete game, a good game, and not making these stupid mistakes that we've made the first 3-4 weeks of the season.
Confidence. Go out there and play and believe that you can beat the Chiefs, and don't make stupid mistakes.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Our team can hang with good teams as long as we don't this is the story of the season, shoot ourselves in the goddamn foot all the time.
Yeah, and if we do have some sort of a lapse, a blown coverage or a turnover or something, we got to shake it off and not let it sit there and eat at you. I mean, we've seen that many times with Kirk. We saw it against Carolina. He threw that pick 6 and he got uber conservative for about a quarter and a half there.
Yo.
I love the fact that we went deep right off the get-go to Jordan Addison in that game. We need to do more stuff like that. You can't be passive and just try to squeak by against Kansas City.
Go into it with some swagger. Like you're going to win that game, that you're coming out to prove something to somebody, and go out and execute.
And that's the thing, because Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame coach. He will school your ass if you aren't careful. So, it's going to be a chess match between him and Flores. And O'Connell's going to have to get off this gentlemanly stuff that he's been doing and start being aggressive, being smart with the play calling, but also being aggressive in the right spots, knowing when to be aggressive and when to just on 3rd and 1, you don't need to go for a 40-yard bomb. Get the first down, keep moving. Keep that ball moving. Whether if we have to dink and dunk down the field, that's fine. That's been one thing that's been killing us all season is the time of possession.
Yeah.
You give Patrick Mahomes 35 to 40 minutes on the field, and this game
They're not winning that game.
No. But now if we can get it close, because the longer you keep Mahomes off the field, the better. I mean, yeah, I'm Captain Obvious here. The more you keep Mahomes off the field, the better chance you have of winning the game.
Right.
So that's the thing. We just have to – we can't let these have them 15, 16 play drives. Now, Mahomes doesn't like those kind of drives. He prefers, like we talked about earlier, the hero ball where you're getting it in big chunks and boom, 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 boom down the field.
Yep.
So if we can establish the run game, Akers is going to get more involved this week. I think between him and Madison, if you can keep that ball moving 3, 4, 5 yards a pop, and Justin Jefferson's going to get his, hopefully Addison gets a little more involved again this week. Hawkinson across the middle. We can beat Kansas City, and I have a feeling that we will beat Kansas City this week.
I do too.
Now that being said, we'll go out and get blown out by 30, but
no.
Anyway, I'm picking the Vikings to move on to 2-3 and keep pace as best we can in the NFC North. So
when we get back to 500 at week 6, we're on course again.
We'll worry about week 6 next week. But yeah. So, but with that, that's about all we've got for this week. Again, want to thank everybody for watching. If you've not done so, hit that like, hit the subscribe. Helps us out a ton with the metrics, and then helps us be able to put out more content. Again, for those of you new to Vikings Uncensored, we have 3 shows a week. Monday nights, I do a live show. During the season, we do it as event line. You guys come in, comment. We talk about your questions, your concerns, your things like that. Just kind of a free-for-all kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. Then Wednesday nights, Lance has his own show called Brunswick's Best, where he takes a look at the best players in Vikings history to numerically, I guess, where a particular number will be number 24 coming up next week. And then, of course, Fridays, our regular studio show. Right now, we are tentatively planning on going live next Friday to preview the Bears game. So, again, thank you, everybody. Take us with you this weekend if you're out there. Tell everybody about Vikings Uncensored. And with that, why don't you take us home, Lance?
Everybody have a safe weekend. Make smart decisions. We will see you on Sunday against Kansas City at home here in Minnesota. Let's go out and get that win. We'll see you then. Aubrey, Millie, if you're watching, Dad misses and loves you. SKOL.
Have a good weekend, everybody.